Saitama looked around the place with curiosity, taking in every detail. This place reminds me of the Heroes Association building. I think it was built by a weapons expert or something like that. Really? Sounds like someone pretty ingenious. This place wasn't built directly by Cecil, but he's taking care of all the remodels. Is Cecil a boss or something? You could say so. He runs the Global Defense Agency. He basically handles everything to do with heroes and threats to the planet. As they moved through the facilities, several agents turned to look at Saitama, puzzled by his outfit so simple compared to the technological suits of the local heroes. Some whispered among themselves, recognizing him from the visual records of the fight against Omni-Man. After a while, they both reached a large room filled with giant monitors and surveillance devices. At the center was Cecil, the man in charge of running the place. Cecil turned as soon as he saw the two of them walk in, quickly recognizing Saitama from his fight with Omni-Man. "It's good to see you're okay, Mark, especially after everything that happened. I see you brought company." "That's right. This here is Saitama. He was the one who helped stop my father. If it weren't for him, this city would be in ruins right now." Cecil turned his gaze to Saitama, who simply raised his hand in a casual greeting. "Hi. So I guess you're the boss of this place, right?" Cecil smiled slightly, noting his relaxed demeanor. "Exactly. You don't know me, but I've already seen your moves on the drone cameras during the fight. I must say it was impressive. Not every day someone faces Omni-Man and comes out unscathed. We owe you a lot. If it weren't for you, we would have had a massacre and half the city destroyed." "Well, I just did what I had to do. Besides, those pilots looked like they were in trouble, and I don't like seeing people die if I can help it." "I appreciate that. Though I admit I'm surprised that someone at your level appeared out of nowhere. If you have any story about your origin, I'd like to hear it directly from you." Saitama scratched the back of his neck with his typical absent-minded air. "Well, it might sound strange, but I'll tell you. I was fighting a guy named Boros, a pretty strong alien who conquered planets for fun, but just when I beat him, a kind of giant light formed, and the next thing I knew, I woke up in this world. In the middle of that fight with the giant monster and that guy in the red suit." Cecil was surprised by Saitama's story, although it didn't seem entirely far-fetched that he was from another world after having witnessed all kinds of events. Interesting. That would explain why our sensors detected an energy distortion right before you appeared. We didn't pay it much attention because of the problem we had with Omni-Man. But if what you say is true, then you're not from this universe." "Yeah, I already suspected that. Everything here is quite different from what I know." "I hope that's the case, because I'll need you to get used to it quickly. Not every day does someone with your power show up, and if you really are stranded here, maybe we can help you find a way back. But in the meantime, you could lend a hand with certain threats." "Help? Well, I don't have anything better to do. Besides, I was told there are heroes here. I could join them, although I'm not familiar with following a lot of rules." "Don't worry, I can make that not be a problem. As long as you do your job and avoid unnecessary destruction, I'll give you total freedom. And in exchange, I want you to work alongside Mark. He can teach you how everything works here." "See? I told you, he's not as strict as he looks. Besides, we could train together if you don't mind." "Alright. It wouldn't be bad to have someone to practice with. Though I can't promise much. My training is simple." Cecil interlaced his hands and watched them with a shrewd smile. "Perfect. Then welcome aboard, Saitama. We'll assign you a room right here, and when you feel ready, we'll assign you a mission. It'll be a good opportunity to measure your capabilities more closely. For now, I want you to go with Mark and meet the rest of the team." "Sure. It'd be interesting to see what kind of heroes you guys have here." "Believe me, here you never know what might happen. There's always someone wanting to destroy something." Saitama sighed slightly, looking around. "I suppose it won't be much different from where I came from. There are always monsters and problems, but, well, as long as there's a bed and some food, I won't complain." "I can arrange that easily. Rest for now. We start tomorrow. And thanks again for saving my men, Saitama. I won't forget it." "No problem. That's my job, after all. And it shows you're good at what you do." Once they finished their talk, Mark turned to Saitama to take him to meet the rest of the heroes. "I don't know why, but I think things are going to get more interesting with you here." Saitama looked at him with a certain smile. "I hope so. At least I'm sure it won't be boring to be in this place." After the two of them left the room, Cecil was left watching them with a serious, thoughtful expression. A man who can defeat Omni-Man effortlessly, and who comes from another universe? This just got a lot more interesting. Meanwhile, Invincible walked alongside Saitama down the base's hallways as he explained how the defense divisions and the Guardians of the Globe system worked. Saitama tried to understand what he was explaining, but he got a little distracted looking more at the murals and the lights than anything else. After going down an elevator and crossing a couple of reinforced doors, they both arrived at a spacious underground training field. A pretty large place surrounded by screens and metal platforms, with several heroes training and testing their abilities. Well, this is where the team spends most of the time. We practice and prepare for missions. Saitama observed the place calmly, noting the number of heroes gathered, all with colorful suits or some kind of special ability that set them apart. His gaze passed slowly over each one until Mark began to point them out. Let me introduce you to the group. The person over there is Duplicate. She can multiply herself as much as she wants. The guy in the orange suit with gadgets is Rex. He has explosive powers. And further over there is Monster Girl. Don't let her appearance fool you. She has the strength of a beast. Saitama raised an eyebrow upon seeing the little girl transform into a huge creature during her training. Well, that's something I hadn't seen before, although it reminds me a bit of someone I met. Mark kept walking until he got close to the main group, when he was stunned to see the Immortal there, dressed in a blue suit with yellow tones, his mere presence commanding respect. Wait, is that the Immortal over there? Something up with him? Mark nodded, still processing seeing him alive again. It's just, I didn't know he was back. Last time, well, my father killed him. Incredible. He really lives up to his name. Realizing they were both watching him, the Immortal approached with his typical serious expression, but then smiled slightly. I don't blame you for being surprised. A lot of things happened and I ended up back. Mark let out a nervous laugh while Saitama looked at him curiously. Well, that really is surprising. Normally when someone dies, there aren't second chances. Seems the rules are different for you. The Immortal crossed his arms as he watched Saitama with interest. You're the hero who showed up on camera. The one who faced Omni-Man and made him back off, right? Saitama nodded calmly upon hearing his question. That's right, though I wouldn't say it was that complicated. I stopped him so he wouldn't keep attacking the others. Silence reigned for a few seconds, and several heroes kept watching him upon hearing that Saitama was the person who had defeated Omni-Man. However, the Immortal let out a slight chuckle. If you managed to stop him, then you have my respect. That man was the most dangerous enemy we've had, and knowing someone could face him head-on without failing, that's something I hadn't seen in all my life. And believe me, I've lived a long time. Saitama barely smiled, raising a hand in a show of modesty. Thanks, although I really just did my job as a hero. Sometimes that's all it takes. Doing the right thing without expecting anything in return. If Cecil accepted you here, then you're already one of us. Welcome, Saitama. The other heroes approached little by little, greeting him with curiosity. Duplicate extended her hand as two of her copies materialized behind her. It's a pleasure to meet you, Saitama. I heard your strength is amazing. Is it true you defeated Omni-Man all by yourself? Yes, although it wasn't as long a fight as I expected. I thought he'd be more resilient, but, well, I suppose everyone has their limit. I like him. He talks about beating Omni-Man like it was any mission. He definitely has something different. Monster Girl crossed her arms and looked at him warily, though there was some respect in her tone. As long as you're not another arrogant guy with power, I think we'll get along. Saitama looked at all of them with a slight smile, noticing that this group had a good energy among themselves despite their differences. In that sense, they seemed better than some of the heroes in his world, who were too guided by rank and despised or underestimated those of lower class. Looks like you all get along. That's good. In my world, hero groups sometimes used to fight among themselves. I have to say it's not always like this, but we try to stick together. After all, the world doesn't save itself. The Immortal stepped forward a little, placing a hand on Saitama's shoulder. Listen, I don't know exactly where you come from, but if you manage to beat someone like Nolan, then you have my trust. And if you ever decide to stay in this world, you'll be welcome. Saitama looked at his hand and then raised his eyes. I'm not too sure about staying yet. I want to see if I can get back home, but in the meantime, I don't mind helping you. Mark smiled when he heard him. Then as soon as you can, we could train together. That way we can show you how we work as a team. Training sounds good, though I don't have a complicated method. I usually just run, do push-ups and sit-ups. Everyone stared at him with bewildered faces. That's it? No way. You've got to be kidding. No, seriously, it works. You just have to be consistent. I like this guy. He has confidence in what he does, even if it's simple. While everyone kept chatting, Saitama looked around once more, noticing how that group represented a new generation of heroes, who, despite their losses, were still standing. Despite his carefree, disinterested attitude, Saitama genuinely liked the people in that place, since all things considered, they were different from the heroes of his world who let themselves be carried away by rank. I suppose it's not bad to start over here. At least it looks like there's a good atmosphere.